In this video, I'm going to share with you about equanimity and how clients integrating this capacity greatly contributes to resilience in both life and relationships. I'll also give a couple of examples of how this can look in clinical practice. But let's begin with, what is equanimity? Equanimity here, we're describing the resource, a state where a person has access to a still point inside that enables them to meet experience, both positive or negative, with profound allowing. Can also be called the capacity to stay fully present with an experience just as it is. So equanimity, with it, clients can experience what is happening without being caught with the cravings or aversion or intense feelings that would have them push the experience away or grab a hold of the experience. Clinically, this matters because resilience really impacts clients' capacity to be with what is arising in relationship without becoming ungrounded or avoidant. So I'll give a couple of examples of how this looks. The first is, I've got in mind a couple who would come in and they would get caught in conflict when one would name a need, a concern, and the other would get activated into defensiveness and then eventually would shut down. And they would have just their pattern of escalation would begin. So we did a couple of steps first. First, we really understood this pattern. We built understanding of their reactivity, what the tender needs were that were arising for both of them. They learned practices for managing reactivity and regulating, and they built this capacity to come into presence with each other, to go from activation to regulation. But then once they would return, there was still this very uncomfortable content for them to be with. And that became a really powerful place for practicing equanimity. Can we allow for this discomfort to be here? Noticing the waves that want to pull away, that want to resist, and just returning to this profound state of compassionate allowance for, this is what is present between us. We can be with this. Ooh, that really changed things as they built that capacity. They had a lot of agency. It felt very loving to just arrive and meet each other in this way. Another example could be the very common experience of couples where someone has been really seeking something for a while. They've been wanting a certain kind of an experience. Lobbying, for example, the partner has been lobbying to be seen, to be heard. And then they're in session and it's happening. The moment's happening where they're having the experience of being seen and heard, and then they just quickly go with the impulse towards the next thing. And over time, there's this realization of they're not just allowing for that experience to get to be part of the field. And the incredibly nourishing nature of letting themselves not just rush to the next challenge, but allow for and be with this positive, nourishing experience as it arises. I've seen couples find it to be incredibly supportive to just make that kind of space in their dialogue as they have those wins, if you will. They have those moments of bonding and connection. Can we let ourselves just land and be with it? Without rushing off to the next impulse. Getting to choose what is really life-serving in this moment. So resilience is a thriving, and resilience are both, of course, really impacted by equanimity. Life is going to bring both pleasure and pain and things we appreciate and things we're disappointed around. But equanimity allows people to meet those waves without losing themselves. And this helps them to stay in connection with the other. So there are many practices that we can support our clients in helping them to cultivate this capacity. For now, just like to invite you to have just a little micro experience of it. Here in a moment, I'm going to create a prompt. Feel free to pause if you want to check in. But just having heard this, just this introduction to the concept of equanimity and how it could support clients, I invite you to turn inwards and notice what's arising in your being right now. You could check out and notice what's arriving in your body, kind of mood or emotions with you, or pattern of thought. Just taking a moment to notice what is in you right now. And seeing if you can just allow that experience to be there. It's giving information. So without quickly adjusting it or shifting it, just listening to it, allow it to be here. Maybe you noticed delight or confusion or resonance or resistance. I trust that for you in this moment, whatever that was, it just is here. It's here as an expression of something. Something the next steps are we could get curious about. We could explore what's wanted around that experience you're having. Or just let it be as it is and let it move like a wave and allow for the next. So there again, there's many specific practices. I'll be happy to share with you more. And if you're interested in joining us, feel free to join us here for both self-paced and live learning opportunities. And as always, thank you for joining. Thank you for your unique contributions in this world at this time. And as always, let's continue to lead with love.